don't think so. But what I've been seeing, or what I used to see a lot, was people trying to compare Scrolls to Yu-Gi-Oh, and the fact that they were trying to say that they should add things like searching through your deck and like field cards or something like that, and that's what they're trying to get it to be more like Yu-Gi-Oh. But I always thought like Scrolls was in a whole different thing itself, because technically we don't really have a deck. It's just like, I don't know how I can explain it, but it's just like uh could somebody help me out here? Because I really can't explain that in a general aspect of what a deck is.
Not too sure what you mean, to be honest.
Anybody here played Yu-Gi-Oh
It's kind
before?
of like the card games where you're building your deck while you're playing it, because those type of games you cycle through your deck and then you shuffle your deck once you go through it, which is exactly what happens in Scrolls. Except for in
Right.
Scrolls, you start with a 50.
Yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh before, but I think, I mean, Scrolls, of course, you can compare Scrolls to all the TCGs, but it has just, you can also, it's a bit of a mix with a board game, as David said, because there's a strategic element to it. But just there's one big difference, and that is that you can actually go through your library or your deck and get the cards again, which you have which you don't have in the other TCGs. Basically, when you take Magic or Hearthstone or Yu-Gi-Oh, once you discard a card, it's just gone, basically. Of course, you have effects that take stuff out of the graveyard and so on, but here in Scrolls, you can actually discard a card, which you don't need right now, and you will see it again later. So you can also run high cost cards, and they don't hurt you when you get them on the starting hand, because you can just discard them, and that's one part that I really like about Scrolls.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It's mainly in the starting hands when you discard cards and you know you're gonna redraw them when you need, probably in the late game, where you could definitely use them. So it's really complex for me, at least, to know what to sack at what point. It's really challenging, and that's what I like a lot about Scrolls.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, was someone else going to say something?
Yeah, I was. Good morning. It's Spiffy Drew.
It is our fearless leader.
And it's
That's
always morning in Spiffy Land, but even though it is morning, my wife was awesome and let me sleep in, so yeah.
So we have her to blame for your tardiness.
No. You have me to blame. Actually, you have, anyway, whatever. You have my laziness to blame.
Well, anyways, why don't you introduce yourself? Like, really introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Spiffy Drew. I like long walks on the beach. I'm a Pisces. Name's Spiffy Drew. I'm married with a beautiful little daughter. Been playing Scrolls since, and wife, as she yells from the background. I've been playing Scrolls since right before Noati got nerfed. So exactly when that is in the timeline, I'm not sure. Started off wanting to do videos and all that of Scrolls, and just never wasn't really good enough yet to do that. So I kind of stopped for a little while, and decided about 2 months ago to start a group, and yeah, basically kind of in the same vein as a Badger Guild, but a little bit different, a little more of a family style, and kind of took it from there. And all of you awesome dudes started joining up, and we've done phenomenally well. And I've learned so much, and being in this guild has definitely allowed me to really enjoy the game a whole lot more than I would have. So.
Looking at the chat, Color Plant and Ice Scream are kind of upset that we're implying that they're not a family.
No.
We were
No.
passing around a picture of Roadkill the other day.
From what I gathered, it was from the original post. And there's Blanket. Yeah, from the original post, it kind of seems to me more of like a machine where y'all just kind of like
way more
cranked out.
result based.
Yeah,
Sorry.
y'all just cranked out ideas and cranked out results and stuff like that, which is awesome, But I've always treated all of my groups um, as more family-like. I'm also the co-owner of a pretty large Minecraft server, so I do like the idea of family getting together, BSing instead of just cranking out data. Now we are getting more towards that state, but that's kind of needed to keep up with the meta.
Yeah, yeah. We've got a lot of these guys are stating in the chat. I'm nowhere near machine and all this other all these other things. It's not to imply that they are or aren't, because the problem is that no one sees what goes on behind the scenes. What we know about the Badger Guild is that they are extremely efficient with the data that they collect, and they use it like a razor to cut through the competition, especially in tournaments. We are attempting to move towards that exact same thing. But one of the things I think that we do that's a little unique is that we actually gather data on all the games we play and not just the games that are inter-guild. So we gather so much data, and we contain so much data, not just about the state of the game and the meta game itself, but what's actually going on at multiple levels throughout the game itself. For example, with Suspense and myself, we're really low on the totem pole, so we can find out what the game is like in ranked at those lower levels and predict it all the way through. So I almost want to give the Badgers a chance to reply to this and say, okay, well, what do you guys think that people perceive you as? And maybe they'll talk about that on their next stream. Sorry, I just hijacked it there for a moment. Okay, so what do you guys think? A number of us has actually faced off against the Badger Guild in ESLs before. What do you guys think about them as a guild? What do you guys look at them as?
Our mortal enemies.
Oh, really?
Clearly.
They are clearly our mortal enemies.
Yeah, we're enemies.
I look at badger, mushroom. I don't know. I look at them as as obviously the other force to be reckoned with. Ever since we started doing the ESLs, no one outside of one of the two guilds has won. Barring Pew Q, actually. Pew won in between the two Anival wins, or the two I Want a Nick Please wins. And that was kind of like, hey, we need this guy, so we got him. But other than that, like, I'm really waiting for somebody else to kind of break through. But I think that, again, proves the point that guilds are needed. They are necessary in order to get to that top echelon.
Now,
and I'm not gonna say that if you're not in, you won't win. And the information that we give is all knowing. It's not necessarily that. It's more of you get the opportunity to try out stupid stuff without having to worry about your ranking. I mean, I can't tell you how many stupid decks that I've tried, or especially David's tried, and everybody. It's like, hey, I want to.
I like how you're calling me out on that one.
Well, I mean, Sir Isaac is perfect example of, man, I really want to put a Frost Giant in my Mono G, but it just doesn't work. Sorry about the stream being choppy. We'll have to work on all that technical stuff. This is the first one, so
yeah. I actually think it is just Blinky. Yeah, I am here. You don't see me because I'm the MC. Okay, now we've talked a lot about the think tank and the Badger Guild. We've actually talked more about the Badger Guild than the think tank, which is a little bit of a problem. But there's a third guild out there that's kind of still in its infancy, and it's called, I think, the Rats and Bunnies, or the Bunnies and the Rats.
Rats and Bunnies.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that guild?
I'm
I
trying to
actually
push
don't
everybody
know
over
any
there.
of them.
All right.
I'm sorry. Let's go for this one at a time.
Sorry.
Let's start with Casey. I think you had something to say.
Well, I think it'd probably be best for them if the Badger Guild and the Think Tank both limited their members and allowed some of the members to actually go over there. Because at the time, the Think Tank and the Badger Guild both seem like the best clans to go to. But if we limit ourselves, then I guess people would have no other choice but to go there or wait for another opening. But
Or
I really doubt
form
they
their
would.
own guild.
There you go, or form their own guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What about you, Enival?
Yeah, it's actually quite cool to see more guilds and guilds rise. But I don't really know these people all that well, I think. But I'm sure some of them will surprise us in the ladder rankings or in the EZL thing. So it's actually quite cool. There's a third group and maybe, hopefully, soon more.
One of the things I think we could do, as far as the larger two guilds are concerned, is maybe split the guilds into separate teams inside the guild. Also, like if you have 10 members, split them into fives, and you can have like think tank, whatever name, and something else kind of inside. So you could have like little inside guild tournaments, like with each other, like in practice, and then little bragging rights inside the guild also. It would also split it up a bit more.
Well,
At least give the illusion that there's more going on.
Yeah, as a major hint to everybody, pay attention. Something is going to be happening. Something nebulous will be happening inter-guild, and it is happening, and we do have stuff, and it is very cool. And get in a guild now, and that's all I can really say on that. That's all I'm allowed to say. Okay, so just to let you guys know, the Rats and Bunnies Guild has the Superb Simon, the Purple Pansy, Bow and Arrow, Fieldhouse, Izuhal, Unholy Edward, Izhual, yeah, Card Ninja, Corbatao, Grimtack, I can't pronounce that one, Original Z-Man, I can't pronounce that one, Wakaranai, I think is another one, Shandlebar, Pangolin Rex, El Shafto, and also Hund.
Almost as much as the Badger Guild.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
but they have several members, and I've actually seen these guys in the ESLs. I've seen them place before. They're not unknown people, at least to me. I don't know. What do you guys think about these people?
As I've seen to stay on this topic, I've seen quite of them, and they're pretty well. I've played against a few in the new ladder, and I mean they're good players, and that's to answer one of the questions from Glitch King. The top echelon of what separates it and what separates the Think Tank and the Badgers from, let's say, just Rats and Bunnies, for example. It's not necessarily the caliber of the player. The players are all pretty good. It's just the fact that when you have 8 or 9 really good players together, all bouncing ideas off each other all the time and constantly testing matches and little tweaks here and there, that's how you get the play better. The deck, you may have one little, I'm going to swap the 2 of, and instead of doing this, I'm going to do that. But it's the players getting better, and that's the only way you can get better is by playing with other good players.
Right.
That's what separates it.
Okay. That's a very, very strong argument for getting into a guild. We
sorry,
have
one other
sorry, go ahead.
one other thing. To answer Ice Cream's comment, you do that, create rivalry inside of your own guild. Actually, one of the funnest things that I absolutely enjoy the most is watching I Want to Nick and PewQ and whoever else just like constantly fighting for that number one spot.